Yes, Lita, how are you?
Hi, Wayne. I'm good. It's very nice to see you. How are you?
Excellent, thank you.
Good. Uh, One of the questions asked earlier about the thoughts and how they arise for you, that second thought of, well, this shouldn't be happening, that narrative has dropped away. And I wanted to ask, I guess, a related question about self-doubt. And whether that's something I struggle with. I'll make a decision and then question whether it was the wrong decision. And again, I know I can't control that's arising for me. Is that something that's gone for you, that if you ever had that kind of second guessing of?
I suppose, but what is gone is the initial sense that that decision was authored by me. So while I made the decision, and the outcome of the decision could be measured as good or bad, and my mind, like, its job is to evaluate these things, still it doesn't have the connection to the gut of suffering that, oh, if this goes bad, I'm responsible. If I've made the wrong decision, then I'm the one who's made the wrong decision, and and all that goes with that story. So without that, then that play of, is this going to work out right, or the way I want it to, or is this, was that really very smart, or all of those kinds of intellectual questions remain at that level. It doesn't go deep into the guts. So that
I wanted to ask another question.
Okay.
I feel, if that's okay, I feel like the to articulate, it's always hard. I have the question and then the words, I'm like, where are the words? I feel as when I'm more connected to the teachings, there's an awareness or an experience, or I don't know, a realization, something that things are arising like in the present moment, and that's really all there is. I mean, there's just, and I love that, because I will get this incredible relief and peace where it's just, it brings me more to the present.
Right.
And yeah, sorry, of course, whenever I talk to my kids, 1 minute, honey, 1 minute. I walked in a corner of the house and they find me. That there is a relief in it. Feels like it's really hard to make plans, or it seems that things should, as though, what I feel like seems like the right life, it feels like. And that's kind of a tedious, curious if the practical way in which you live your life shifts or open to these teachings, because it's harder to predict what's going to happen. So it's harder to, and I feel like that's lifted, it's shifted. And I don't know, again, if that's something that you live more fluidly, or you find that you make plans in a different way. I mean, it's just a question I've had, if you have any insight.
Well, I think the term that you use, that you live more fluidly, is a good one. I mean, part of that fluidity may be planning and changing planning, and I mean, but when it's fluid rather than rigid, then the capacity for change is easier. I mean, the resistance to the change is less. When you're rigid, then change becomes much more difficult and problematic.
There seems to feel like there's this conflict for me right now with like participating in life and then wanting to withdraw from life and kind of isolate, because I feel like I can be in the teachings and And yet then I want to live, I don't know what it is. It's like, I guess I don't feel the teachings integrate into life. That's what's happening. When I'm alone, I feel better. And that's a lot of the time. And yet when I want to go, and it's like engaging in all the things, all the different roles, like this play of the mom that signs the kid up to do this activity. Then I'm like, oh, I don't want to do that. Anyway, all the little things that I feel like are structured, and friendships and relationships just feels like it's hard to do that and still be, I don't have the right word, like connected to the teachings, or be, you know, what's it? Second child. Now they both got the message. Sorry.
Right.
Anyway, that flip-flop maybe is what I'm feeling, but it's sometimes I feel a little upset about it, because I guess there's a frustration of wanting to live the human experience and feel like I also am aligned with the teachings or aware of them. And it sort of feels like it's an either or. Like I go and I get into the weeds of life and I start to lose my connection to the teaching, and my anxiety increases and I start second guessing and doubting, and I just have to pull back. And yet I don't know if those two merge. And I don't know if you have, in all the seekers you see, if you feel like sometimes that just doesn't merge. And
No, it's always merged, is the perspective of the teaching, that even that sense of isolation is part of what's happening. So the teaching is not this thing over here, and your life, or even your involved life is another thing over here. The teaching is all-encompassing. So it includes the flip-flop. It includes that period of feeling disconnected and feeling isolated. The teaching recognizes that that's part of what it is.